I, I think a couple of things. One is that we moved the ball probably better in this game than any game this year. We've been working very hard all week on how can we get the ball off our feet and combine and really get two or three guys around the ball, and really three guys triangles around the ball, so that we are moving it in such a way that we can move the ball up the field and windows open, seams open, and then consequently when that seam opens or that window opens, for us to goal immediately and quickly. So that's been our theme all week, and I thought we did a fabulous job of doing that. And the first goal was a great example where we're combining, and Philip makes a terrific run down the wing, and this is our right back, and he hesitates when he gets it on a dribble as if he's going to maybe serve it, and he pulls away, explodes down the line actually, as a winger would do, and then lays the ball off to Rasmus, and Rasmus finishes a really super goal. So it was about combining first, then isolating our outside back, and then him driving in, and a fantastic finish by Rasmus. So things that we've actually been training and working on, to see it work in the matches is really good. Well, it started where in training collectively we decided that we really have to protect our back line. We have to protect our goal, got to protect our home, and it started off our first home game we had against LaSalle back when it was, who was a good team, very good team. And we were committed all week in training to really get numbers behind the ball, and committed to outworking our opponents. So the focus of that game was, when the game is over, for the opponent to say, oh my gosh, I've worked harder today against the LIU guys than I've worked the whole year. That's going to be our focus, is can we impose that kind of a commitment defensively. And also keeping guys back and not sending as many players forward as we had in the prior games. That commitment, coupled with having more guys behind the ball, has really set the stage. The other part is that our line is a lower line. We're not that stretched out, between 30 to 35 yards now. We're really hard to break down. If teams hit over the top, we got a back four that could easily deal with it. Logan can deal with it. And then we start our attack, and we're pretty good on the ball. So there aren't many holes to really find as there were prior to the LaSalle game. We start with Noel. I think Noel has taken on a different role this year, where he has started for 3 years prior to that. And coming off the bench is hard to do for anyone that's used to starting, but he's really embraced that role, worked hard in training. When he's had his opportunity, he's done a fabulous job. I think he's got 3 goals on this season for us, which is the most he's had, I believe, in a season in 3 years. Now, I'm not a big statistic guy, but that's what I remember right now. And he's gotten to a point where, he's done all the right things in training on the bench when he hasn't played, to be supportive and ready, and has gotten better where now he's starting. He started our last match. So he's done all the right things and led by example, and showed everyone that as you're working hard, you could contribute, find ways to contribute. Tyler's similar. Tyler hasn't played as much because he's a defender, and it's hard to substitute in the back. And plus we have, honestly, such a strong back four where, with all the shutouts, it's really difficult to make any changes. So unfortunately, he's the man left out of playing right now. We've given him time as an outside midfielder. He played against Central the other day and did a nice job. We played up front a little bit early in the year. But Tyler has been the guy that's been the connector on the bench, been the connector in training, making sure that the guys know that he's a hard worker. He's focused on what he does. He's always trying to get better in training. And his effort, it certainly transforms into the other guys. Rafi, another guy that, again, limited time in terms of minutes. We talked about during the year last year in terms of how can you find ways to contribute by your work rate. He's one of the hardest working guys on the team. And he's got a great belief system, which is wonderful. And he's getting on every game, 10, 15 minutes perhaps, lifts us up. Sometimes longer he gets on the field and makes a difference. And the goal that he scored against FDU to start this whole conference streak was the difference maker. It ended up being the winning goal, and it was part of his, we're up 2-0. You figure you could just relax, possibly. Most players would do that or just keep the ball. He drove forward, and he pushed it, and he gets the 3rd goal, which was courageous and huge for us, which was wonderful. Tanner, has continued to get better as a left back, embraced that role as the 2nd year he's playing now as a left back. His leadership has gotten better and better. You know, he's a quiet leader. He's not a yeller, but when he does speak, people respond and listen to him. And he also is one of the hardest working players on the team. Jacob continues to be our organizer in the back, providing that emotion, that passion that we need at the right moments. He knows when to provide it. He knows when to allow other guys to be leaders. It's one of the things I think for him that he's really matured as a leader, is allowing other people to speak and for them to lead by example, which is a hard thing to learn, but Jacob has done that. And then Keaton, he's out now. He's been out for almost a month now, unfortunately, getting back. We're hoping that he could make it toward the end. But Keaton is a guy that is also a very positive connector. He's one that is very wise in terms of what he says, and very thoughtful when he says things. And he's completely engaged. The guys respond to him, and I expect that to continue as well. Yeah, I think that's going to be a new role for our guys. We have been the hunters, obviously, up until this point, and now the roles reverse. And our training today was very hard. It was extremely competitive. It was important for us, after having such a good match on Sunday, not to come here with our feet up in the air and go, we're just going to show up on Friday. We're not. If we just show up on Friday, it's going to be lights out. Sacred Heart is a much better team than their record. They outshot Central Connecticut 2-1, 20-10. They were even almost against St. Francis, New York in statistics, close to even with shots, and they lost 3-0. So they're not finishing goals and they're giving up goals, but the rest of it, they're playing extremely well. So this is going to be their game of the year, trying to beat us. And I've impressed this upon our guys, and I expect our guys to come up with that challenge and to go and give that same effort and move forward after Friday's game.